perfectly packaged. Let me go ahead and slide off this this face mask here so we can see the device. This is the first time I have seen, personally, an iPhone encased like an iPod. You can see the device without even opening the box. That is a colored case for it, but I got the wrong color because I was too tired, as you might have heard on the Pocket Now Weekly podcast. So the device is fully encased in this top module here. And it's, wow. Oh, this is so high quality. Okay, we're going to put this aside. This is heavier than I would have thought. We'll put that aside for a second. This is my first time unboxing an iPhone since the Bush administration. This is cool. Hello yourself. There's nothing else on here. Just hello. iPhone 5C, a little tour of your hardware features there. These are bound together. These appear to be info cards. Of course, if you want to display your belonging to the cult of Mac, you can do that. iPhone 5C, ring sound, switch volume keys, home button. Just telling you about the device. Is there a backside to this? Yes, indeed. Where you can learn more, where you can get support. Here is a SIM removal tool. Very, very nice to have. And general iPhone info, probably some warranty stuff. Rounded corners on this. It's kind of like holding the real-life version of WebOS cards. That's kind of cool. Anyway, you're bored of that already. Let's move on. Oh yes, I finally get to try earpods for the first time. Apple's new earbud design, shipped with the iPhone 5, so nothing really new to the marketplace, but new to me. All of it packaged beautifully, just like the rest of it. This is no surprise, but it's probably the finest unboxing experience I've had so far. Single USB port on this. I'm used to the Moto X's dual USB port plug, so I'm going to be entitled and complain about that just so I can inject some artificial balance into this. Nice narrow gauge USB cable, and man, this is like a cat bowl. It's so well made. Okay, let's put the hardware aside. Let's put the packaging aside. Get back to the phone. Folks, the iPhone 5C is available in white, pink, yellow, and green shades as well, but since I never got my wish for a Cyan Lumia 920 or 1020, I decided to go with the blue. Now, it's still in its protective case here. I just wanted to make clear that I am very excited about the color, if you couldn't tell already. We'll zoom out a little bit more, just so that we can see what's going on here. Oof, all right. That pops off quickly. I probably did it wrong. I'm holding it wrong. Now, the plastic box was joined to the screen protector, so I messed up before, but let's see if we can get a close-up angle on this peel off here. Silence, please. That wasn't very loud, but it sure was beautiful. And there, for the first time in the state in which I'm going to be using it, is the new iPhone 5C in blue. Now, you're tired of me showboating, so let me take you around the hardware here. My first impressions of this plastic are that it reminds me a bit of a Lumia 920, one of the glossy editions that is from Nokia. It is, the polycarbonate that Apple has used is high quality, clearly, but it's as you can see, we're already getting some fingerprint action there. I predict that in very short order, this thing is going to be just riddled with hand skin grease and such. Hopefully the color will help, fight that trend a little bit. But it is definitely worth noting this is very, very different than the iPhone 5. And we will be comparing this to the iPhone 5. But a quick hardware tour for you. An 8-megapixel shooter around back, the same one found in the iPhone 5, I believe. Next door to it, an LED flash, the Apple logo, the iPhone branding down below. Not much else to speak of there. Flipping it over, a 1.2-megapixel front-facing camera for FaceTime. The battery within is slightly larger than the iPhone 5. I'm going to go ahead and power on here while I'm talking about it, but just volume down, volume up, and the ringer silence key. Home button down below, just like every other iPhone. Nothing on this side except the SIM tray, which I will be dealing with in a moment. Flip it back around to the front. We'll go ahead and power standby it up top, and just to take a look at the bottom, there we are. There's our speaker ports, our 3.5mm headphone jack, and the lightning port down below. Don't know if I called that a USB cable before, but it's not a USB cable, just in case I did. Let's power on the iPhone 5C. Press and hold. We should get Apple's new
iPhone 5C. So basically all you do is take a iPhone 5, find some green plastic, pour it on the back of it, and there you go. You have the iPhone. Let's talk about some of the dimensions. It weighs in at 4.6 ounces, which is equivalent to 132 grams. It has a width of 2.3 inches and a height of 4.9 inches. And you can get it in a 16 or 32 gigabyte configuration. And the new 5C does come in 5 different colors. You can get it in white, pink, yellow, blue, or green, which is the one that we have now. Okay, so let's talk about the body itself. So right here we have the volume controls. They are separated buttons. Above that we have the mute switch. On the top we have our sleep wake button. On to the right hand side we have our SIM card tray. On the bottom we have our input for our lightning connector with 2 screws on the side. To the right we have our speaker. And right there we have our headphone jack, and next to that is a microphone. On the back of the phone we have our single LED flash. We have our 8 megapixel camera and a microphone right next to that also. And on the front of the device we have our speaker for our ear and a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera. And if you're wondering how this thing compares to the 5S, it's pretty much the same as far as where everything is at. Everything's in the same spot. The 5C does weigh a little bit more though. And it doesn't have the dual flash or the Touch ID home button. Okay, so let's talk about the operating system itself. So there are 2 ways to unlock this phone or open it up. You either slide to unlock or you can enter a password. I'm going to choose a simple one right here. And now with iOS 7, you can now launch Control Center from any screen that you're currently on. And you can also launch the camera from your lock screen now, which is a really neat feature. Let's talk about Control Center a little bit longer. So when you launch it, there's a few features that are on here. You now have a flashlight built into it. You also have airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, do not disturb, screen rotation lock, and you can also adjust the brightness now from here. You can also control your music right here. Back to the bottom, we also have airdrop mode. We also have our timer / stopwatch. You can mess with those settings in there. World clock. You have your calculator as well. And you also have your camera. Now the drop down menu in iOS 7 is also a little bit different. It has your notifications categorized by today, all notifications, and missed notifications. Now Spotlight search is also a new feature. You can now swipe down from any menu and you can also type in what you want and bring it up that way. You can no longer swipe all the way to the left to get to it. You can just bring it down from any menu, which is very helpful. Now let's talk about the completely new redesigned iPod application. Cover flow is now gone, so now when you flick through your album artwork, you no longer can see that, cool looking, flowy looking design. That was pretty cool. We all like that. Now when you rotate the screen, it shows you probably about 15 different artwork covers, which is pretty cool. It doesn't look as cool when you're flicking through it, but it's easier to see your music all at once. So I actually like this feature a whole lot better. And that was clearly a glitch right there if you didn't hear it. Also built into the new iPod app is iTunes Radio, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like Pandora, basically. You can listen to a huge genre of music, and it kind of, based off what you pick, what you put in your favorites, your playlist, it gives you recommendations and it continues to play those type of songs. And then you can also purchase those songs right up top. It'll always have a little purchase icon up top. So it's pretty neat. But basically, if you play with Pandora, then this will be pretty familiar to you. Not the layout, but the way it works. Now the Photos app has had a complete redesign as well, and I like it a lot. This is a really great app. It is so much easier now to find lost photos or keep track of the photos you took, because with in today's day and age, with phones having such huge storage and pictures being so big with Instagram, it's easy to lose pictures. But now you can, it actually keeps them categorized for you, so you don't so much have to do that yourself. As you can see right here, you can go back to the year, the month, the location, and it's so much easier to keep track of your photos. And when it gets really small like that, you can just swipe your finger across to see which photo you're on. As far as Safari goes in iOS 7, everything is still pretty familiar. There are a few new features, but the main one is now when you're browsing through your tabs, as far as your web pages go, you can now swipe them to the left to delete them, and it kind of has this cool effect to it. Now, as far as the graphical interface goes for the weather app, it's changed as well, and it also gives you a couple more options. You can now tap where it says 66 degrees, and it shows you the chances of rain and what it feels like, the humidity. So that's pretty cool. Now, the multitask feature has changed as well, and it's pretty cool now. You can now browse through what apps you have open, and you can permanently close them down by either swiping up with one finger or two to get rid of them. It's pretty cool. It looks a lot better. Now, another new feature in iOS 7 is the parallax effect. It kind of allows the apps to kind of move around the image in the background. It's pretty cool. It's a little glitchy right now, but it does give it a cool graphical effect. Another updated feature is Siri. It comes in a male and female voice, and it's a little bit more helpful now. Siri, what's going on in the NFL?
Here's the NFL schedule for week 3.
And if you're not sure what you can ask Siri, there's an information button in the bottom left hand corner, and it gives you a list of things that you can ask him or her. Well, some of them. There's more things than that, but that's kind of a standard list. Siri, FaceTime wife.
Making a FaceTime call to wife.
Why would you want to do that?
Folders has also been updated. You can now have multiple pages inside of folders. It's pretty cool. So now you can swipe left to right inside the actual folders page. Now, as far as the camera app goes, the whole interface has changed completely. I like it a lot. You can now swipe to the left or to the right to pick which mode you want. You have Pano, Square, Photo mode, and you also have video mode, which is pretty cool. So it does take panoramic pictures. This one does not have slow motion like the 5S, so keep that in mind. And it also now comes with a bunch of filters like Instagram. Here's some sample pictures that I took earlier in some video. Core processor at 13 megahertz and 1 gig of RAM. And as far as the display goes, it has a Retina display, 1136 by 640 pixel resolution at 326 ppi and 800:1 contrast ratio. And for those of you who aren't that tech savvy in this ever-changing world of technical specs, basically what that comes down to, if you're buying this phone for games or to watch videos on or to show pictures, then this is definitely the phone for you. You will definitely not be disappointed. This phone can keep up with the best of them right now.
What happens. So first of all, let's go ahead and zoom this a little bit more, and we'll just start with doing some of these. Now this is plastic, but you guys can see right there that marks will show up, so especially if it's a knife or something sharp, and that's definitely permanent, so you might want to have a case for your, even for the 5C. Let's go ahead and try the screen. Okay, so got some glass shards all over here, but as far as screen, it's always resistant, just like any Apple screen. It's strong, durable. Of course, keep in mind this screen has already been cracked, so but if it's a brand new screen and you got it's Gorilla Glass, it'll be strong. It won't show any scratches or marks there. But back cover, very vulnerable.